Hey everybody, welcome to What's Going On, a weekly roundtable show where I gather some of the best people that I know to just shoot the shit, hang out, tell stories, see what happens. Some of the best people I know are going to be on the show. Some of the best people I know are watching the show. Thank you so much. Chat, you are a part of this show. Keep those questions coming in the chat. If you hear a story that reminds you of something, throw your story in there. We'll get to that as well. I got a bunch of great people, so I'm not going to do any more talking by myself. I'm just going to pull everybody out and they can introduce themselves and then we'll go from there. So without further ado, welcome to the show, Rachel, Lisa, Sarah, Ashley, Chris, Jaya, and Marcus. What's going on, everybody?
Hey.
Yeah. Oh, look at this crew. I've made a terrible mistake. This is so many amazing people. Let's go around and let everybody know who we are and what's going on. Rachel, let's start with you. What's up?
Sure. I am the social media director of the channel, and therefore I am actually tweeting while I'm streaming. That's part of my job. So if you see me doing this, that's what I'm doing. And otherwise, I'm just happy to be here.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Lisa, what's up?
Hi, I'm Lisa. I don't know that I have anything to plug. Oh, I'm on a podcast. It's called Al's Pals, and it's on the podcast things. I co-host it.
The podcast.
I co-host it, and this is the first time I've ever plugged it. Other than that, I don't know if any of you are like longtime watchers of this show, but if you'll note that a few weeks ago someone mentioned the Gilmore Girls, and so it put a curse on me that I now have to watch all of the Gilmore Girls. So I've been watching a lot of Gilmore Girls, which means that I talk fast now, and I've been drinking more coffee because they're very influential, because I'm like, ooh, they drink so much coffee, and I'm like, I could have more coffee. Anyway, so...
You are rocking the Lorelai vibes right now.
Yeah.
I also cut bangs for myself. I don't know if it's related, but I did it a week ago.
Wow,
So.
there is so much going on, and we're going to dive into all of that, Lisa. Thanks for being here.
Is that enough about me?
I think it is more than, and I mean that in the best possible way. Sarah, what's going on?
Hello, I'm Sarah. Thank you for having me. I'd just like to circle back to Lisa.
Perfect.
Tonight I'm just gonna plug my Instagram, which is @tomato surprises. I am taking watercolor commissions. Should you have anything weird you want painted?
Sarah's an amazing artist. She did our collaboration this month on our merchandising shop, which you can check out at breadgear.net. It's an amazing logo. Thank you so much. It's so cool. So cool.
Breadgear.net. Check it out.
Yeah. Ashley, what's going on?
Thank you so much. I'm Ashley. I'd also like to circle back to Lisa. As just so everyone knows, Lisa's on the floor, and she didn't want you all to know, but Lisa is on the floor, and she is ashamed of it, and she shouldn't be. And I wanted her to be proud about it. So I literally don't have anything to plug.
No secrets. No secrets on this show.
No secrets on the show. It's all going to come out in the wash. I don't have anything to plug. I'm a loser. However, I am tits deep in a rewatch of Elementary. If anyone wants to talk to me about that show, you can find me on Instagram.
Moon. You can also see Ashley on QAW on Thursday nights. But if you want to talk to her about Elementary,
mostly that.
Hit up her DM for sure.
Is that the one? Is that the one with Lucy Liu?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Nice. Chris, what's up?
Hey, Ben. Thanks for having me. Hey, y'all. I'm Chris. I just got to circle back with Lisa. Because the Gilmore Girls, you got to get through that. That is fundamental TV at its core. All I got to plug to is Thursday nights here on 2MB. You can catch QAW. I play a character called the Love Doctor, and my tagline is, "Ooh, baby!"
you were gonna do it. I knew you were gonna do it.
It doesn't get old. It doesn't get old. I'll do it throughout the show if you want me to. I swear to God.
Oh, don't threaten me with a good time. Thanks for being here, Chris.
Thank you.
Jaya, what's up?
Hey, y'all. I am not going to circle back to Lisa, so I'm going to break it. I'm breaking the cycle of violence here. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm doing good. I was a journalist. I might be a journalist sometime in the future, but I'm not right now, and it feels really good because that shit was driving me crazy. Like really crazy.
Take a step back.
Yeah, I'm just doing really good. I everything's good. Oh,
Good.
I just figured out what story I'm gonna tell. It's a funny one.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for being here.
Yeah, absolutely.
And last but certainly not least, Mr. Marcus Cardone, how are you, sir? Good to see you again.
Hi, I'm good, man. Just with this like deep V-neck thermal, so I feel like I'm just the thirst trap. I feel like I'm being objectified right now,
By yourself.
especially as a Gilmore guy. Because like, don't worry. Like, real question: what team are you? Team Logan? Team Rory? Any of those ones? How do you feel about the remake? I feel like this is a panel of all New England comics, so I'm just like, yo, it does not matter. That's a New England-ass show. And it's like the closest thing that's on television that shows townies accurately, because I'm like, all right, cool. I'm like, this is all real. This is all real small town life and accurate. Amy Sherman Palladino, solid. And then, yeah, I want to see Miss Maisel anymore. I just want to see a revive of Gilmore Girls after the failed revive. So I'm just here. I'm about it. All right, what's up?
Did they?
Wow.
As somebody, I've watched Gilmore Girls, but not a ton. Do they name the town, or is it an unnamed, or is it a fictional town? Or
Stars Hollow, Connecticut.
So
Stars
It's
Hollow.
a fictional town.
Yeah.
That's a fictional town.
Where the last name is that? Oh,
Yeah, that's their
Yeah.
last name.
that's really annoying because
And there's like two of them who have like the same exact name, but one's like nicknamed like Rory. So it's like, it's weird. It's very elitist Connecticut. It's very like, all right, cool, we get it. You guys have money, like that vibe. So.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. We're getting into it. We're talking about Gilmore. It's fantastic. Let's tell some stories. Who's gonna go first? Lisa, why don't we have you go first? Tell a story.
Oh, perfect. Oh, I'm so excited to tell my story. It requires a little background about me. So the story is about me being in New Jersey, and so here's the thing. I grew up in California, and my mom's whole family was from New Jersey. And so like I grew up always hearing about New Jersey as like this beautiful, wonderful place that everybody missed being, and there was all this nostalgia and stuff. So like as a young girl growing up in California, I was always like, oh, New Jersey, the place where everything's perfect.
So I can't imagine too many people had that idea.
Right, which is why whenever I talk about New Jersey, I have to preface it because people are going to assume that I'm going to be talking negatively about New Jersey, but actually to me it was like a childhood dream to go to New Jersey, and in fact I actually moved to Boston to be closer to New Jersey. So
You realize
the
New
history
Jersey,
of Boston.
New Jersey is completely attainable. You don't have to.
yeah,
stepping
so
stone.
that's the thing though. I sort of was like, I didn't know how to get there. So I was like, I just applied to some colleges generally on the East Coast because I didn't understand geography. I thought Connecticut was north of here until like a year after I moved here. But anyway,
Funny.
I was from California. Anyway. So the point is,
California. We don't give a shit about the rest of the country.
we do not.
You could have said Florida, and I would have been like, okay.
If I
You'd be
was
like,
from
I'm
Florida.
Florida, I don't know anything. I'd be like, yeah, all right, that's all I needed.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, so you love New Jersey.
Yeah, so I love New Jersey. So anyway, I feel like it's important because I feel like people will be like, she's about to be, talk shit about New Jersey, but I will never. Anyway, so as many of us, I have not really been interacting with people very much. And so I went to New Jersey and I got to experience the fun thing of someone else pumping your gas. And so I'm already awkward with like anyone right now because I don't talk to people that much. So I'll like go into a store and they'll be like, how are you doing? And I'll be like, and so now add that to like this experience that I had never had before of someone else pumping my gas. And then, yeah, so I pull up to the gas station. I knew they pump your gas there for you. And so I like pulled up and I sat there in the car and I was like, okay, this was last week. Anyway.
And you can't pump your own gas in New Jersey.
Yeah, they won't let you. And I knew that because my family's from New Jersey. So they told me.
It's been lore. It was passed down.
Yeah, family lore. So I knew it was coming, but I had never experienced it.
You pulled in and you were like, it's happening.
It's happening. I was excited. I was nervous. I was like, this is a rite of passage. This is something that, should be in my blood. But anyway, so I had the thing and the guy comes up to me. And that's when I realized, I know what's going to happen, but I don't know how to act. And so I rolled the window down, and he was like, what do you want? And I was like, gas.
Yeah.
And he was
gasoline, please.
And I was like, gas. And then I forgot, because I don't have a car here. I had a rental car. I haven't got gas for myself in a long time. And I was like, what are the kinds of gas? And I was like, I know there's different grades, but then I was like, is it how do I get the cheapest gas? And I was like, I think it's called regular. So I was trying to look around him at the pump to see the names of the gas options. And
give me your cheapest gas.
Menu, please. Can I get a menu?
Yeah. Well, and I didn't want to. And I wanted him to think that I fit in. So I didn't want to ask any questions. So I said. Gas. And then I said, regular gas. And he was like, yeah. Do you want cash or credit? Yeah. See, that would have been good. But yeah, no. So I said regular gas. And he was like, I meant cash or credit. And I was like, oh, credit. And then he said, okay, cool. And then he said, how much do you want? And I was like, how do I answer that question? Because it's I want him to fill the tank, but the question was, how much do you want? So I was like, the whole tank minus what's in it already is what I said in my head. And then I was like, that's not. So I turned to him and I go, all of it.
All the gas.
And then I go, no, wait, no. The whole thing. Because I knew that all of it was wrong. So then I amended it to say the whole thing. And then I was like, no, that's still wrong. And I was like, and he was like, fill it up? And I was like, yes. And he's like, you say fill it up. That's how you say it. And I was like,
I thought you were French or something.
Yeah.
That's super ESL.
Yeah. Well, okay, so I also
language. Yeah.
I was trying to fit in, but my rental car had Florida plates, so
okay. All right.
Anyway, so I was in the car, and so then I was like, okay. And so I was like, yeah, thank you. I'm not from, and he's like, I know, you're from out of town. And I was like, okay, well, he figured it out. And so then I was like, okay, cool, we nailed it. And then I'm sitting there and he's pumping the gas, and then I'm like, oh my God, should I tip him? And I didn't know. So I get my phone out and I text my family group chat, and I was like, do I tip the guy who pumps my gas? And I asked the question, and I was waiting, and I was like, and I wasn't getting a response, and the guy was coming up to the door, so I was like, and he was like, that's $30. And I was like, okay. And then I was like, I'd paid him earlier. I gave him the card a while ago. I didn't tell that part. Anyway, but so the transaction had completed, and at that point I could just drive away or I could give him a tip, and he just said, okay, that's $30 worth of gas. And I was like, thank you. And then I was like, can I tip you? And he said, I don't see why not.
I like his style.
That's the best answer to that.
Yeah. And then yeah, I'm killing this interaction.
I don't see why.
And then I looked out at my phone to see that my aunt texted me back just the word no. So you don't tip him. I find this out as I'm reaching for my wallet. And I have now asked if I can tip him. So I'm like, well, now I have to, because that would be so rude if I was like, can I tip you? And then I just drove away. So I was like, I look at my wallet. All I had was a $5 bill. So I just take it out. I hand him the $5 bill. He takes it and he looks at it. And he goes, and this is like an older white man. He looks at it and he goes, thank you. And I was like, and he said, you'll sleep with the angels when you go.
Oh.
What year,
And
what
I
year
was like,
this?
Wow.
This was a
Beautiful
week
New
ago.
Jersey.
Oh, I hate
And I was
that.
like, and at first I was like, he said, thank you. And then he said, and I was like, that. And then I heard what he said and I was like, oh. And he said, no. I mean, you'll never go down there. And then like pointed emphatically at the ground.
I like
You just probably ran out of hell for $5. That seems like a deal.
And I was like, is this God? Did I meet God at this gas station in New Jersey? It was the Shell when you're leaving Long Beach Island.
I feel like God would be working like some hourly job just among the people somewhere.
Right.
What if God were one of us?
Nailed it.
Yeah,
we were all thinking it. We were all thinking
That's a
it.
sequel to Dogma.
Just
This seems
a
like the
flop.
plot line.
Like one of us.
Yeah.
In Jersey.
Yeah. So then after that, he said one more thing that for the life of me I can't remember because my interaction ended after he told me I wasn't going to hell. And then I just was like, okay, bye then. And I drove away.
Oh my God. That is amazing.
Yeah. So it's like I feel like I'm easing my way back into society. You know, I've had 2 vaccine shots. I'm like, you know, easing my way back into society, and I feel like I wasn't ready for that. You know, I feel like that was like a level above what I was ready to handle.
I thought you were gonna pull away when your aunt texted no, which would have been also very funny. You're never going back to New Jersey to that gas station.
Not to that gas station, but luckily there's plenty there.
It's true. It's true. It did remind me really quick. I was in a car one time with my friend Ryan, who's a really great person, really kind, does a lot of good things. We were on our way back from a gig, and we were at a red light, and a person who was panhandling came up through the middle of the cars asking for money. And Ryan, they passed our car, and Ryan was like, "You know what? I want to give that guy some money." And he reached into his wallet and he grabbed some money out. And we were the first car in line at a red light. And he reached out the window, and the guy was like 2 cars back and was like, "Hey man, I want to give this to you." And the guy turned around, and then the light turned green, and somebody honked behind him, and he got flustered, and he just drove away. And I was like, "Did you just show that man $1 and then drive away?" And he was horrified. Like, he felt so bad. And he's like, "I didn't drop it because I don't know. He just got flustered." And I think about it to this day. He is a monster. I won't say his last name, but some of you know him and know who he is. But yeah, that's what I thought of, Lisa. So thank you for not driving away. I appreciate that. I appreciate your tipping the guy, and 20% sounds right.
Yeah.
If you're gonna tip, you nailed it.
I felt like when I gave it to him, he looked so overwhelmed with gratitude that I was like, I messed up.
I mean, it's the first time he's ever gotten working at a gas station ever. So he was
well, yeah.
probably
And then
thankful.
I was like at dinner with my aunt and uncle, and they were like, "You don't tip the gas station attendant. That's just not done." And I was like, "Oh."
I feel like you used to maybe when they would like check your oil and clean your windshield. And
They would
do all
check
that
your
stuff.
oil?
Oh yeah. You
Yeah.
used to pull up and you'd say, "Fill it up," which is just all you have to say, Lisa. Fill it up. That's it. And then you would also just pop your hood and you could say, "And check the oil." And they would check your oil, and if it was low, they would put oil in for you.
And they would always wash your windshield.
Always.
Yeah. Always. Yeah.
Did you all grow up in New Jersey?
No, that's just how it was everywhere when we were younger.
What?
Yeah.
And you
Wasn't
got
that
$5.
big.
We drove through New Jersey a lot on car trip.
I will
Yeah.
say New Jersey smelled so bad when I was a child. It's not a myth. It was like the northern New Jersey had so many
Oh.
factories
It was
that it
awful.
smelled like hot garbage, and you could smell it. Like it was disgusting. There was a corridor that was so gross to drive
Yeah.
through,
Horrible.
and now it doesn't smell like that anymore, which is great. Which is great.
Yeah,
can't
I
even-
have no complaints about New
Yeah,
Jersey. I
Garden
thought it went
State
great.
my ass.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Garden State.
See, and this is
I just know that
this
it's
is
a
the
highway
conversation I was trying to avoid because you're all ruining my life.
It doesn't
state.
anymore, is what he ended on. So
Yeah. Lisa, you're going to heaven for $5. You're good.
yeah, you're going straight
You-
down there.
You got hell insurance. They're like, you're not
Yeah.
going here. Hell insurance, $5. You listen to the pitch. You're solid. I need to go to Jersey and pay mystical guy $5, I guess.
Exactly. Again, if any of you wants to get into heaven, the shell right outside of like when you're leaving Long Beach Island.
I feel like that we're gonna go to that, and they're gonna be like, "There hasn't been a Shell station." there."
It never existed.
Okay, so now Lauren is saying who doesn't tip the guy.
Lauren tips all the time. There you go. She says, "Who doesn't tip the guy?" This is crazy to me. So there you go. Lauren at least is a good person, and now so are you, Lisa. Yeah.
Oh, good God.
With it, yeah.
So that was a great story to start us off. Awkward interactions, etiquette, and mystical stuff, which is great. All of that is fantastic. Sarah, either grab something from there or tell whatever story you'd like to tell, but it's your turn.
All right. I'm inspired by every part of that story. Awkward interactions, gaseous material, and definitely some mystical events happening in the story as well. So this, I went to school for science. And I used to do these conferences where you would like go and bring a poster. You would do a bunch of research and you would bring a poster and present your research to a panel of, I don't know who they even were, professors, probably scientists, who knows, but you got adjudicated based on your poster. So it was my first year going. I was a junior and I was really excited. And I thought that I was gonna like just be the fanciest dressed scientist in the room. So I got very swanky. I had a pantsuit and high heels on. And I had my, these posters, by the way, they're no joke. It's not a joke. They're very, very big posters.
What was your presentation on?
My presentation was on acetylcholinesterase inhibition.
Okay.
No, I don't like that.
Sum that up.
No.
Yeah. Sum that up for us.
Should I just leave it at that, or?
Yeah.
I mean, Ashley is soaking wet right now. You can just
I'm here to provide for Ashley. Basically, it was biochemistry about Alzheimer's, about what happens at a cellular level with Alzheimer's. And there's an enzyme that happens with people who have it that you're basically trying to inhibit that enzyme from working. That's all it was.
Yeah, this sounds like a science fair for adults, is what Buffon said.
I have to interject.
Correct.
I think that the point of a science fair is to prepare you for when you do science to go to a poster session. I think that that's retroactive, but that's why a science fair is set up that way.
I've never made that connection before, but I think you might be right. I think you might be right
it's
about
like,
that.
Because it's like when you do science, you do the poster session, and then that's just like, you know, when you're learning how to do science at a younger age.
It's true.
And science fair, when you set up like in the gymnasium, and then people just come around and you talk about your thing, that's 100% what posters at scientific conferences are just they hang on the wall and people walk around, and if the presenter is standing next to it, they explain it. It is literally
That's right. That's correct.
Right. And I think that that's why science fairs
must
exist.
be, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm working on a PhD, and I've been to a couple poster sessions, and it occurred to me one time when I was there, and I haven't been able to tell anybody about this theory that I have. And so
A
this
poster
is really
session
exciting.
sounds like such a cool name for something that sounds like
So
interesting, not cool
It's
at all.
what I do every night on Twitter, yo.
A little poster session.
Nice.
Oh, I get because
Nice.
posting. Sorry,
Terrible. I
continue.
hate it. I hate that. I hate that for me.
Ashley is soaking wet right now. Okay, so I've got my poster, and these posters, by the way, are you roll them up and you put them in these like protective sealed containers. Because you don't want anything to happen to them. And you can get all different kinds, but I was borrowing one from my professor at school, and I had like one with a strap right across it. So I look like I've got a sword on my back, and I'm wearing high heels. And it's in Boston, so there's cobblestone everywhere, right? So I'm walking with my poster, feeling like a badass scientist woman. And I start to feel like I'm gonna fall. Like I'm gonna one of my heels gets caught in the cobblestone.
Were you wearing stilettos?
No, they weren't stilettos, but they were obnoxious for a poster presentation. Okay, it wasn't the right fit, let me tell you. And I started to like wobble, and then the poster is so big it like kind of threw me off balance more, and I fell forward like a cartoon, like arms falling forward, and there was somebody right in front of me, and I grabbed onto her.
Oh no!
And she was wearing a dress. And I pulled her dress down, and I saw it came down just underneath one of her butt cheeks. It was just under one of her butt cheeks. And she was like very embarrassed. I was very embarrassed. I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I was like trying to help her up with the poster on my back. And neither one of us could stand. So I apologize. I like get her right. She is not amused. She is not finding the joy in this moment as I was. She was very upset about it.
How old was she?
She was probably in her 60s.
Oh.
Was she also part of the science fair?
Well, Lisa, it's funny you asked that question. Because I was feeling really good about my poster until a group of adjudicators walked up to it, and she was amongst them. And the entire time, she did not look at me in the face the entire time. She was thoroughly embarrassed by the experience. And I feel for her, I do, but she had a fine ass.
That's what I wanted to
I
hear.
was gonna ask that, but I didn't want to be that person.
It was not bad. And I
60?
That ...
I'm sorry. I just wanted to let you guys know that she had a fine ass. And I didn't even place in the poster presentation. They rank you, by the way. by the way, you can win these. And then they bring you to a bigger poster presentation. But I kind of understand why she didn't want me to go on to the next big one. Oh, man. Yeah, it was an experience.
Petty. That seems petty of her. If your poster was truly good enough, then
I mean, there were other adjudicators involved in the decision. I do wonder what she said to them about me, and I also wonder. What'd you say, Ash?
There's no way she told them if she was embarrassed like that.
I don't think there was. I think it was genuinely just a mediocre poster, and also that experience as well.
oh my god.
I have a question about the word judicator.
Adjudicator. Adjudicator. An adjudicator.
Yeah, and adjudicator.
That helps. That already got me closer. Why don't they say judges?
I think just because it's science and they're trying to make you feel dumb.
Cool.
They're trying to make
and
you
did
feel
they
like,
succeed?
oh yeah.
Good terminology.
Clearly, I'm not a scientist anymore.
That experience wasn't because of it, though, right? I mean, you weren't.
It was why I gave up science
and moved into comedy. That actually makes sense to me.
Comedy, yeah.
Oof.
You were like, no one in this room appreciated the humor there, and then you
It's
were like,
true
wait a
though.
minute.
Nobody did. Not anyone around. She didn't, and no one else.
Have you ever? That reminds me of have you ever hugged or goosed somebody? It's even worse if you goose them. Who
Like
you think
accidental goosing?
Who you
No,
think
explain
you know,
goosing.
it's somebody you
Explain
think you know from behind,
Yeah,
and then
what's
you don't
goosing?
know them,
And you.
and you like get up on them and you squeeze. And you're like, hey.
This
This doesn't
This sounds like a sexual harassment meeting now. Goosing.
like
Oh,
was it cheeks?
what? Like what?
Isn't it just like a little squeeze?
Wait.
Never-
This is goosing. Are you making like a honking sound at the same
Yeah.
time? Like what? Wait, what?
Hold on. Ben, you have control of your hands. You don't have to do that.
You don't have to. But
See, I thought goosing was like straight up like whack, like neck.
I have never
This
been
makes sense, and
confident
also it's
enough
like goosing.
they're out of control.
that someone is who I think they are.
I've
Yeah,
definitely
like-
hugged someone from behind. I think I actually hugged someone I thought was Ryan one night at the theater, and it was a stranger. Nailed
Like
it.
hand placement about the hug, because this is what I'm like wondering with goosing. Is it low? Is it like mid back, or is it like high, like
I'm
that
short,
one?
And Ryan's very tall, so it's like around his waist. It's like
Okay, you could pass it off at like Heimlich maneuver. Like I thought you were choking. My bad.
I
I thought you were joking.
No, that's because I'm just like, where's goosing? What's the height that is goosing?
I don't think goosing. I think it's more the action versus where I think you can goose all over the place.
That's what I've read.
don't know. I think goosing is ass specific.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is
I think I'm
goosing ass
using the term
specific?
wrong.
Does
Yeah,
anyone
Ben,
know in
I'm
chat?
imagining because I'm pretty sure a goose is when you just walk up to behind someone and with both hands grab their butt. Is that what you're? Okay,
I
I,
would
was
like-
like, you're
I
being
would like-
bold with people who you maybe know it's them. That's like,
I'd like to apologize. I didn't mean goosing.
No. I'm now intrigued. This just passed. Like I'm like, oh yeah, tipping
I don't
$5
just
in
walk
Jersey.
up and grab
Now I'm like, what's goosing? This is all essential in society post COVID. I'm like, are we allowed to goose after we have 2 shots? Like, what's going on? Is this allowed?
I only know goosing from The Sims. That's an action you can take with a person.
Okay, what's
It
goosing,
is.
Lisa? What's Sims goosing?
It's where they grab their butt.
Okay, all right, okay, cool.
Somebody
Sorry.
thought goosing was boobs. There you go.
No, that's wrong.
If someone thought that, it was Dave.
Goosing's a butt grab.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
definitely butt grab. Yeah.
Wait,
it's a
Ben,
butt
what
grab.
did you think it is? What have you done to a stranger?
What if you
I
accidentally
never thought it was
goose?
like, and you're like, hey.
Alright, I've never heard the term goosing before. Are you people like secretly Canadian or something? Like
It's a
No,
butt
I think in Canada, goosing has to do with a goose. Like, that's
yeah,
probably
goosing's
it.
totally different.
Goosing is different than foie gras or whatever it is.
Yeah, it's a butt. Wiktionary says it's a butt grabber pinch. So there you go.
Never heard the term goosing before. I was trying to figure out through context clues whether it was an ass grab or like a boob grab. I guess
I
it's
guess
an
it's an
ass
ass
grab.
grab. I guess
It's an ass grab.
All right.
I thought it was
Moosing.
like shoulders, like whenever you like do a little squeeze.
I actually used to do it. I also didn't know what it was either when I was playing The Sims, but I would always see it come up as one of the options, and so I would have them do it a lot, and I couldn't really understand what they were doing. So I would be like goose, and then I'd be like, what's happening? What is this term?
I think
Wow.
the Tempest is right. I think it's like a goose biting your butt is like what you're mimicking with the
Wow.
squeeze.
That was an option in
Oh.
The Sims? That's insane.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
I never
be
played The
poking
Sims.
people in the ass.
Wait, what? Wait, you were poking people in the butt?
In the butthole?
You were just thinking about a goose, and you were like, what would happen if a goose shoved its beak in your ass? And I'd be like, should I have been poking people in the asshole instead of grabbing their butt cheeks this whole time? I'm goosing all day. I know you guys are saying you heard of it. I'm saying I goose all day, and I'm asking if I should be poking in the asshole.
I feel like that's what gandering is.
I enjoyed that one. Good job.
Yeah, it's more of a pinch because I think the goose would like pinch your butt, so it's a little
Yeah.
pinch.
Yeah, not like a free prostate exam, like honk. Like
Right.
that's not it.
It's not cupping. You're not cupping
I
the
was
butt.
thinking
Yeah.
the beak, like,
Pinching.
I don't even think a beak could get up a butt.
hey, you haven't seen
Let's
my
try
butt.
it out.
And on next week's episode, myth busted.
Wendy, X-rated.
Busted.
we put bird parts up people's butts.
It's like, do it, intern. Okay, Adam. Just
There's a fetish there for everyone. Don't shame what people are, okay?
oh man.
No
No,
kink,
hey.
no kink shaming.
It does feel sort of like illegal cockfighting, but you're like it's goose scuffing. Totally different. Oh man. Okay. That is a ridiculously embarrassing story. I love it, Sarah. Amazing. Now that we're all properly warmed up, Marcus, it's time for you to share a story, my friend. Either stay on the theme of embarrassment or go off on your own and tell whatever story you'd like.
Embarrassment. Okay, cool. All right, yeah, let's go on embarrassment. I haven't talked about this in a minute. It was usually one of my stage things, but I'll spare it. So I'm a very straight dude, and I say that because I've tried. I went through an experimental phase, and I know that I'm still trying to sort out like toxic masculinity. It's like a common theme, like within my life and all these different things. But my first gay experience I've ever had was 100% like I got male shamed into it. Like, I hope you guys know this, that it was a very aggressive, like male, like, gay male who was just like, hey man, I'm like, how do you know you're gay? And I'm like, I have a gay uncle who's like told me this. He's like, Marcus, you're very attractive. It's crazy that you're not attracting gay men. And then I actually had a gay man interested in me. I'm never against it. Like, I found men attractive, but I never thought I could get in like a relationship with like another man just because I was around so many women. But I did get like male shamed into like my first gay experience. And like from what I knew, I was like, I still watch like straight porn. I knew about all this stuff. But this guy's like, how do you know that you're not gay if you've never kissed a man? So then I ended up kissing him. Like, that's like a usual thing. College dorm. I'm like, all right, cool. I didn't have a nose ring yet, but eventually I got the nose ring. So then it just came full circle. So then he's just like, oh, how do you know you're gay if you've never like, sucked a dick? And for some reason, I got competitive with it in my mind.
In my mind. Never.
I got my first gay experience was gay chicken. I got gay chicken. I got like full on like, oh man, you know what? I'm not gonna suck dick like an amateur. I'm gonna suck dick like I was born to do this because I didn't know. I was like figuring out my sexuality.
I'm gonna show you how straight I am by sucking your dick.
Yeah. No, I just want I was like go all the way or don't at all. So I'm like I'm going for it. Yeah, and pretty much like there was never like a weird moment where I'm like, oh yeah, I could figure out what a like gag reflex is. There's never been a moment for me up there. So my first gay experience, yeah, I got shamed into going for the dick suck, but I literally first in, I'm like, I'm gonna try just fitting it all in. I'm gonna be impressive. I'm gonna do like a move that I've seen.
No.
I threw up on a guy's dick.
No.
And that was my first gay experience. I've never done like, you know, anal with a dude, but like I've had like girls like play around back there, but I'm like, it's cool, I'm past it, I'm fine, I'm not gonna do that. But I'm gonna say this as a guy, I feel like I'd be a bad gay dude just because I like couldn't suck dick that well. And yeah, it was also very weird.
There's so much to unpack here.
Yeah.
On first go round, you're not the first person, I guarantee, to ever be shamed into giving a blowjob. So you, that's unfortunate. And I was just thinking that, and I was like, welcome to the club in a weird way.
There are some very uncomfortable jokes I can make right now, but they're they're not good.
That's fine.
But my biggest takeaway was like, it's not. I don't think that you are a bad or not gay because you threw up on a penis. I just think you started on like a black diamond trail when you should have been on like a green circle, right? You went too hard, too fast.
Yeah, you don't deep throat on the first go, my friend.
Yeah,
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Marcus, I have a question. If you've never done anal, how do you know you're not gay?
It's fair. No, I've said this. I'm saving pegging for marriage. Like, you know, I'm fine with that. So
cool. Okay.
Like that's where I'm at. And then also like this is a weird one because I thought about this the other day. Like if I like the male partner that I would choose would be like a Paul Rudd, if that would make sense. So that's why I'm just like, all right. I've thought about this. I'm like, okay, cool. A Paul Rudd. But I'm like, those are like few out of many. So yeah.
Is it like his look or like his sense of humor?
Oh, charisma, and likability. Because I've said this, no one really likes Ant-Man. He was an irrelevant hero. Then Paul Rudd got cast, and all we're like, yeah, we love Ant-Man. I'm like, no, we don't. we love Paul Rudd.
We love him so much that we fuck him. That's how much we love him.
There's another guy who's just like Paul Rudd.
No, take it back.
Yeah. Wait. Was this from Gilmore Girls or like what?
How dare you?
No. Ryan Reynolds.
No.
Whoa.
Totally
No,
different
way different.
white guy energy.
Way different vibes.
No.
Is it?
That's so funny. I would fuck Ryan Reynolds over Paul Rudd, I think.
I'd fuck them both. Preferably.
Yeah,
I think them both together, preferably. Yeah.
But if you had to pick one, which one would you pick?
Ryan, who would you sleep with? Who would you roll
I
over?
honestly don't know which one is which.
Matt, can we pull a picture of them?
We need Deadpool, and you need to watch Deadpool and Ant-Man and be like, okay, who could I bring home? Like that's really
wait. Are neither of them? Is one of them the Green Lantern?
Yeah.
Yes.
What? That's the movie.
Ryan Reynolds.
That's like the good Ryan Reynolds movie. Yeah, one of them is also Detective Pikachu.
Oh, Ryan Goosling. That's great. I haven't seen the Green Lantern.
No one saw the Green Lantern. Don't worry about that.
You're like, is it one of them? Green Lantern? I haven't seen that.
Yeah, you're like that.
There was commercials.
With Ryan Reynolds. No, I have not seen it.
It is what else was Ryan Reynolds in?
What?
I mean,
it's not that easy.
No, but besides Deadpool,
the proposal with Sandra Bullock.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Look at
Like
that
that,
bland ass face.
Definitely, maybe. Yeah, Just Friends. I like Just Friends is my favorite Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, when he's fat.
Yeah, I like the fat Ryan Reynolds.
when he has braces and he's just singing. Oh, he's Van Wilder too. Yeah, he did play a bro. I'll say that Ryan Reynolds has played a bro and Waiting. Yeah. And was it Adventureland too?
He is Canadian. Oh, and Adventureland. I like Adventureland. I always forget about that movie.
I feel like he's not who I was picturing as the Green Lantern.
Yo,
Yeah, there it
that's
is.
yep.
There it is.
You're just like, yep, abs.
There it is.
Like a pen tagged it just to be like, yeah, I found this for you guys.
It's really hard to look at that picture and then say Paul Rudd.
Yeah, Paul Rudd is
I
like
don't
the hottest.
I feel the reverse. I feel the reverse.
Okay.
Maddie, do you have a photo of Paul Rudd shirtless
he's
by any
pulling it up.
chance?
I feel like Ryan
Paul Rudd
Reynolds
is
could
really sex for sure, though.
talk,
I mean,
but Paul Rudd would snuggle you.
Yeah, Paul Rudd.
Yeah.
Paul Rudd's there for the support with the
Paul Rudd
homies
is
and
like
everything.
if, Ryan Reynolds is going to hit it too hard, and you're going to have to pretend you can't. So
Yeah, Paul Rudd looks like he's having a great time. Like that's the difference. That's how charismatic he is. I'm like, he doesn't really have abs. But look at that face.
I love it. I love it.
I love that shirtless Paul Rudd is now in your search history.
You know, though, this is actually making me realize that this whole time I was thinking of Ben Stiller.
Oh man, Globo Jim.
Zoolander? No.
Yes, Zoo.
And I would not sleep with them.
She screamed Zoolander and disappeared.
There you go.
There we go.
And
I'm
I
back.
do not want to see a photo of Ben Stiller next. I do.
Yeah.
Blue Steel.
Yo, Ben Stiller is fit.
Nice.
Wow, that is that was impressive. That was impressive. Oh man. Yeah, what a story, Marcus.
What a fun Paul Rudd adventure we went on there.
I love it. I love that guy whose dick you sucked was probably like, there's no way this is gonna work, but I've gotta try. And then it didn't work. It worked.
Yeah, he got married, and then he had me give a speech at his wedding to his husband now. So it was just like, yeah, I think I owe them residuals as like a comedian now every time I tell that joke.
Wait, you talked about that at their wedding?
He told me to. He's like, this is the funniest story because I'm like, we're still friends. No, he requested it. I was like a wedding like memory forgotten, something blue, something old, and I'm like, yep, okay, that works. That was a weird night. Let's talk about it.
Remember when I threw up on the groom's dick? I don't like that. That's horrible. I love it.
Yeah.
You had family there? Like, did his mom now know that you threw up on his dick?
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. All right. Well, it is what it is.
Wow.
That's
It is
wow.
It's wild, and I love it. Yeah.
I'm sorry. This is our shared trauma now. We're here.
No, this is fantastic. Thank you for sharing that story. And yeah, we're going to keep going. Jaya, you've heard so many stories about embarrassment and all sorts of different things. You can keep that theme going, or you can tell whatever story you came in with, whatever you'd like to do.
Well, I originally was gonna tell like a story because I'm feeling very, like, I don't know. I just hit 18 months sobriety,
Congrats.
Thank you. Yeah. And 3 months smoking free. Like, Screech died. RIP to the big homie Screech, Dustin Diamond. 44 years old, conked off after 3 weeks in the hospital because he found a shadow on his, or something. I don't know. Lung cancer. Long story short. So I just put him down, never touched him again. I've been doing a lot of like health stuff, and it just got me thinking, all my shit right now is so serious and so self-involved. But the first drop of alcohol I ever had is a very funny story. So I think I'm just going to tell that.
Fantastic. I love it. And can I just say, I'm so proud of you for quitting smoking. That's so great.
Thank you.
I would be remiss as a comedian not to point out that I do think it's great that you're like, it was Dustin Diamond getting my smoking.
Screech turned it all around.
Screech, man.
So much.
Saved by the Bell one last night.
I didn't even watch that show. I thought he was a jackass. Like, I don't know what came over me.
But you just found that thing. I love it.
He was the one who did it, and it's like, my best friend, a good friend of mine, Lou, this older gentleman I used to chill with, he was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer. month later, he's dead from fentanyl-laced crack. He went out with a bunch of hookers. R.I.P. to Lou.
R.I.P. Lou.
That's a way to go. I didn't even quit for him. What the hell? It had to be Screech. I didn't even like Screech. I hated that show.
But something about it hit you at the right time, and I love that. I think
God works in mysterious ways. I think it's because
True
Lou
story.
was 73. It's like, okay, you were a Vietnam vet, you know, like it's time for you, old man. But Screech, he was 44.
I want to know why your best friend was a 74-year-old.
Oh no! I said best, but he. Hey, I was saved by the bell. He wasn't.
My god.
He wasn't my best friend. He was just a dude I hung out with at this coffee shop in my hometown. It was a pretty sad place. What?
I'm having it leave.
I love it.
Lisa's mind.
What?
That's very Gilmore Girls.
Oh, the coffee shop? Yeah, I mean, it was a place called Arthur's Market, and it just reopened, honestly. Oh, okay. So it's actually like I went. Oh, okay. I'm changing my entire story because this is funnier. Oh God, it's so embarrassing.
Yes, great.
Oh Jesus Christ, I hate this for me, but I'm about to tell you. I don't know if you know this about me, but I'm like really exuberant in general, and I'm like super exuberant when I am depressed, which is like my baseline. But now that I'm undepressed, I have recently become undepressed, and it's great, and I love it. And everyone knows it because I scream and yell and shout and sing and skip down the street and basically annoy everyone with how happy I am. And this coffee shop I used to go to almost every day of my late 20s. It was a piece of shit. Don't get me wrong. It was terrible. It was run by this old fucking freak down the street. I'm not going to use his real name. Oh, he doesn't have a computer. His name's Richard. He doesn't even have a phone. Fuck him.
Oh, hell yeah. Get him, girl. Get him.
Fired at Richard.
He had a coffee shop down the road in like the historic district in my hometown in upstate New York. And it's terrible. He bought like 5-day-old salads from Price Right and marked them up 500% and sold them for a bunch of money. And we'd all have to be grateful to him because he's a small business owner / tyrant and whatever, man. He never got canceled. I mean, put out of business or whatever because he knew a guy who knew a guy. He was the worst. Anyway, he took over this old market in my town. And it was like a coffee shop / grocery store back in the day. It was like a fixture of the neighborhood. And it still had these bright, big, airy windows. And the sunlight would come in and these big tables. And it was gross in there, so no one ever went. Which was great for me because my town is so small and shitty. We don't have a WeWork or like a hot desk situation. And my apartment was terrible and had bad 70s carpeting. So I just spent all my time at the coffee shop. I bribed the kid he paid cash under the table to manage the place. I bribed him with $30 a month so he would pay for Wi-Fi. And it was open from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. every day. I spent every day there in my 20s. First thing I did.
It sounds like you just paid for their Wi-Fi.
Yes. As I was saying it, I realized that is the case. I paid a double Wi-Fi bill.
Okay, cool.
So you own that business.
Basically, I mean, I was the only customer. But it's sort of funny because I met like all my best friends there. Everyone I've known from Schenectady was there. I mean, y'all, I was a big drinker in the day. I kept a bottle in the back room. Where, by the way, my friend Schenectady, New York, bro. And my best friends. My best friend. I keep saying best friends. Like these are like we are acquaintances at best. No, I'm kidding. His name's Sam. He's actually a really good friend of mine now. But I mean, brother slept in the back room for I want to say 6 months. For free?
Sounds
on
like
a
a plot line of
moldy
Shameless.
mattress.
I mean,
Yeah.
coffee shop sounds
Honestly,
kind of great. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm fucking writing a novel about it. Honestly, I mean, Lou was a man who he was a Vanderbilt, basically. He was like this excellent, like very old family in Connecticut. And he was a Vietnam vet, like I said. He went to boarding school in Connecticut when he was young. Wealthy man. And he died penniless in a hoarder's apartment, living off Social Security and doing crack cocaine and heroin, which was all laced with heroin. I mean, well, the heroin was laced with heroin. There's heroin in my heroin. No, it was fentanyl. Oh, this is bad. Lou, forgive me.
This sounds like an off-brand Gilmore Girls episode.
Yeah, no, it's really
too dark.
off-brand.
They were like,
This was the dark remix. This is what happens to Kirk in reality.
Yeah, man. This is upstate New York, bitch. This is Gilmore Girls in upstate fucking New York. That's Connecticut. This is upstate New York.
After Stars Hollow.
Yeah, after Stars Hollow. There's a lot.
They're on the run.
There is a lot more heroin involved in this version. Anyway. Yeah, so my man
It's like Gilmore Girls, but with heroin.
A little bit more heroin.
That's
Yeah,
all
man.
Mitch. That's what we're going to the network with.
he died. He did kill himself. I'm sorry to say, but when we went through his phone afterwards, my man had lots of prostitutes in his phone, like a lot, and he had whole categories of porn.
On his phone?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
How
he was
did he
73.
how did he
My
store
man was
them?
a freak. He had gifts, he had pictures, he had videos.
He had, porn gifts.
He once told me he had a
culture.
Tumblr. He had a Tumblr and he used it specifically for porn. He was 73.
How did you know that his contacts were prostitutes, like next to their
He-
names? Did it
I
say prostitute?
think the woman,
was it like
the
Yelp
woman who
stars?
went through the phone happened to know all these fine, upstanding women. But knowing Lou, I would not be surprised if he wrote Lisa hooker. Everything. He was a freak, man. I loved the man. But he was
Sex
great.
work
What made
is real
you-
work.
What made you say the name
Yeah.
Lisa just
I
now?
agree. Hey,
I don't know. I
Lisa,
actually-
tell us
Listen,
what
I'm
really
with
happened in
Ben.
Jersey.
I
I'm with
picked a
Ben.
random
Sex work
name.
is work, and I'm sure
Sex
there's
work
plenty
is work.
of
More
sex
power to you,
workers
Lisa.
joining Lisa.
I don't know. Yeah.
Back to Lisa.
But the point is,
Yes, John.
the point is, the place has been bougified. Okay, it closed for 3 years. I fled Schenectady because all my friends were fucking dying of drugs. I couldn't handle it anymore, and I went to the city and I did grad school and shit. And I came back and everything's fine now and whatever. And the place shut down. And it opened, and now it's selling $8 salads. And I look out the window, and there's a bitch riding an elliptical bike down the street. You know, elliptical bikes. Have you seen one of them?
Yeah.
Have you ever
Oh,
seen
yeah.
any
The one
time
where
in
you're
Park
like-
Slope?
Oh,
And
they're
I'm just looking
horrible.
at her, and I'm thinking, there goes my fucking rent. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Where did she come from? This is not Kingston. This is not Hudson. This is Schenectady.
The slow crawl up.
My friend once asked me, what should the logo of Schenectady be? I said, a needle in the dirt. He said full or empty? I said, half full. I conked off halfway through. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I can say this. I have friends who died. Anyway, the point is, Jesus Christ, I'm so bad at telling stories. This is not a story. This is a fucking eulogy for the American dream.
The most
For
interesting
America?
man. The new Dos Equis man right now is what I'm hearing. I'm like, what?
Oh, Christ.
Excuse me?
Anyway, the point is, this new lovely lady is helming it. She opened it. She poured hundreds of thousands of dollars into the place. The foundations were rotted. It was like a beautiful old building. She fixed everything, and now she's selling $8 salads, which is really expensive for Schenectady. And man, I look around. My first thought is, where the fuck are all the dead flies? My second thought is, where's all the rotted food? And then I'm trying to explain to her like the significance of everything. And I look at her and I go, you don't get it. And I pointed at the floor and I looked at her. I said, I have had sex right here. She was horrified. I can't believe I didn't go back for like a month. Because how do you recover from that, you know? But it sounds kind of tragic now that I've said it, but it was actually a really funny moment. I don't know. The point is, my favorite place has been bougified, and I'm kind of okay with it, but I'm kind of not. So that's my ridiculous story, I guess.
And they renovated over your sex spot. It's fine.
My sex spot. My sex spot.
Is the
Wi-Fi gentrified? And
the
someone's
Wi-Fi,
paying the Wi-Fi.
The Wi-Fi is so good. I don't have to pay it anymore.
Yeah. You should steal Wi-Fi from there forever. Just go in there and download like the biggest file you can. Be like, guys, this is back pay.
I'm just gonna say this. I've done I've done shows at Proctor Theater. I've spent time in Schenectady. It is a piece of shit, with the exception of like the block around Proctor's, which they somehow keep. It's very sad.
I'm extremely angry you said that, and I have just formed a blood oath to destroy you. But I totally agree with you. Is the part.
No, I don't mean that.
Goes missing. That was the testimony.
Eddie, this is how I feel when everybody talks shit about New Jersey.
Yeah.
I was just agreeing with you. It was the kind of place where literally my director would be like, you don't want to walk back to your car by yourself. And I was like, I grew up in New York City. And the guy's like, yeah, it doesn't matter. I was like, what?
No, I agree. I grew up in that area. I lived in that area for 5 years. It's a lot better now than it was when I was a kid, but
yeah. There's still a big factory empty and you see it and you're like, oh man, what you can do
right next to the casino. They keep trying to get them out and they keep going like, no, pay us more money. I know you want us out. Fuck you. I think Schenectady is the ancestral home of all Italians. I don't think they're admitting it.
Italian right there. That perfect Italian, like talking motion right there. What you know? Hey, Schenectady.
All
right, Chris. We've learned all about dying cities being reborn and what happens when they're reborn, and the fact that sometimes the place you loved survives, but it doesn't remind you of the place that it was anymore, right? And that's a pretty fucked up thing sometimes.
Yeah, and we learned about my sex spot.
And we learned about a sex spot and bragging about that spot to the owner of a place, which is amazing. I'm going to say it's a brag. I like it. It's a
flex.
It's a flex for sure.
It's a tourist.
Extremely awkward.
So, first of all, I got to shout out to Sarah, her story, just really quickly. I all that resonated with me as a former scientist, going to conferences, carrying the tubes. And I was on a flight and it was hilarious. You could tell all the people are going to the same conference. We're all flying down to Orlando and I see this like postdoc come onto the plane with the tube. And she's got it over her shoulder, similar to how you were wearing it. And someone behind her, one of her colleagues, says something to her. And she, as she's walking, she proceeds to just whack like 12 people in the head as she's doing this, walking down the aisle, just bam, 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 bam. And it was just, it's like something straight out of a movie that you just, like, you can't ever see that ever happen again. It's one of those brilliant things. So, so that just reminds me. Oh, they're horrible. Like the flight attendants don't know what to do with them because they don't fit in the overhead bins. They're just, it's a nightmare. But anyway, so all the stories, the one that I think I want to follow up on, I just, kind of finding a place that changes. I think I had that happen with me in kind of an internal like realization of kind of like, what was I doing with my life? And this happened in a trip to Las Vegas, of course, because that's when you really
these
find
things
yourself.
often happen. Yeah.
Yeah. And so the story goes as such. I was out partying with friends. We went to a club. We of course got bottle service, because how else can you blow more money in Las Vegas than
Vegas,
spending?
baby.
Yeah, exactly right. So we get multiple bottles, and of course, like, one friend of mine also drinks whiskey, and so we decided, everyone else is getting vodka because that's what you mix drinks with. We decided to get whiskey, and that made a lot of sense. So we get a bottle of whiskey for, I don't know, $500 or $1,000. And nobody drinks it, right? So, and I'm cheap as shit, and I can't believe I'm spending this money. So I pour the rest of the bottle out at the end of the night into a large cup. And then, because I was really drunk, I knew I'd drop it. So I put it in my boot and walked out of the club with my boot in my hand, my other boot on my foot. And I'm flying out the next morning, right? So it's like...
My favorite part of this is you were like, fucking nailed it. You
Yes. I was just like, yeah, guess who won, baby? Guess who won?
Yeah, you
in my
gamed
boot,
the system.
motherfucker.
You gamed the system right there.
I did. I really did. And so I'm flying out. The net, like, in 3 hours, right? And I'm shit faced, and I decide, like, if I lay down, I'm gonna fall asleep. I'm gonna pass out, miss my flight. And so my buddy and I, we go and we get some food, and we get just, of course we're drunk, so we get a bunch of different shit. I get just a whole lot of pulled pork nachos. And I'm just going to town. My buddy's like, all right, I'm going to go crash. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go up to the hotel. I'll go up to the room, grab my stuff. And I've got like 20 minutes. I'm just sitting on the bed. And about an hour later, my buddy's like, Chris, you're going to miss your flight. Oh. Somehow I passed out. Right. And in the flurry of this, I'm just like, all right, I got to get to the airport. And so I'm grab my stuff. I get into a cab, and I get in the cab, and the cab driver's like, "Oh, one of those nights, huh?" And I'm like, "Oh, he clearly knows that like, it was a crazy night." And I'm like, "Yeah, I got to get to the airport." And so we go to the airport. At the time, I was traveling a ton for work, and so I had some ridiculous status with Delta, and so I go through, like, basically, in short, Are you
wearing both shoes?
At this point, I'm wearing both shoes. I had polished off most of the whiskey between the nachos and going back to the room.
Nachos and whiskey. Yep.
Yeah. And so I missed my flight, but I'm just walking around, and because I have status with Delta, I just am looking at cities that I know fly to Delta hubs, and to see if I can get on that flight. And I'm still wasted, and I'm like kind of cocky for some reason, because like I know I can do this.
You just drank boot whiskey.
Yeah, you drank some boot whiskey, my man. That's frontier like cowboy attitude.
It sounds to me like you're nailing this travel, so I would be too. It seems like you're doing a great job.
Yeah,
he's just like, plan my trip.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just like,
I would hire you as a travel agent.
But only to Vegas.
The itinerary, you're the itinerary. Like, put boot into whiskey into boot.
Must-dos in Las Vegas. Yeah. So I see a flight that's going to Minneapolis, and I know if I fly through Minneapolis, I can get to Boston from there. And I used to live in Minneapolis, so I'm like, you know what the fuck? Maybe I'll have a layover. I can grab a beer with a friend or something. So I go up to the counter. I'm like, hey, I'm Chris Kaufman. I'm platinum.
Chris Kaufman? Hold on.
Yeah.
TSA pre-check. Got whiskey in my boot. You don't know me.
and
started from the bottom. Now we hear.
She's like, yes, of course, Dr. Kaufman. Yes, I'll. Pro tip. I'm a PhD, but just put doctor, and they think you're an MD, and they treat you like gods. That's the reality of it. So. So she's like, yes, Dr. Kaufman, I can get you on this flight. And she's like, it's not an aisle seat. I know you prefer that, but we'll get you on the flight. But even during that time, she's looking at me and she's got kind of I can best describe it as like a stink eye. She's kind of like, you have status, but I'm like, there was something off, right? And I'm thinking like,
looked in a mirror. When's the last time you had looked in a mirror?
Dick on your head.
I hadn't looked in a mirror,
okay.
right? And again, I'm just like, I reek like booze. I slept 20 minutes or 30 minutes on bed. That's it. So I look like crap, right? I get it. So I get on the flight, and I'm that fucking guy, the last one to board, because they were about to close the doors, right? So everyone thinks I'm delaying the flight, because like you walk in and they're like, oh, this fucking guy, right? Yeah, he partied it up and he was late for his flight, and that's why we haven't left yet, right? So everyone's giving me the stank eye, and I get to my seat, and the woman, I'm in a window seat, and the woman in the middle seat just like looks at me and just complete fuck you eyes, like not I want to fuck you eyes, like fuck you eyes.
Very different. Very different.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah.
Same for me.
Yeah, and it was just like, I was like, all right, I get it, but whatever. I'm a boss. I'm living life, and I get into Minneapolis, and I basically slept the whole flight. I get into Minneapolis, and I've got a couple hours. I'm gonna call up a friend. Got to hit the bathroom real quick, and that's when it happened. I looked in the mirror, and much like Hannibal Lecter did with people's skin, I did with nachos and pulled pork. I had one side of my face.
You're kidding me.
Had cheese, pulled pork, and I'm not joking, there were little bits of chips on the side of my face.
How did you
The
not
whole
feel
time.
that?
Well, I was.
Because he was numb with power.
I was not from the boot. From the boot whiskey. The boot whiskey.
he was a doctor. Nacho face got respect.
Yes.
Delayed the flight.
I swear to God, I thought you were gonna have like a Sharpie dick on your face or something. Like that's where I thought this was going.
No, I passed out in my leftovers, and I brought some of them.
I love that Vegas is such a place
Where you would take
where
that
people are just like, any other place I feel like, and somebody would have been like, hey, you've got something on your face. Like somebody at the airport, somebody you were like checking in, but in Vegas, they're like, fuck these amateurs. I'm going to let you wear nachos on your face.
Yeah, and that's what happened. It was like in an instant, right? I just, my brain immediately started to think about all the people that I had interacted with. The taxi driver, the security guy, like, TSA, the flight, the person at the flight gate counter, right? It was just like, it was crazy. And then I just like looked at myself in the mirror and I was just like, dude, what are you doing with your life? It was just this moment. And then, I don't know, I forgot about it and got busy with work.
He's too busy being a baller.
He's too busy being boss to care.
Did you wipe it off, or
Dr.
Did you wipe it off, or did you just lean in?
Oh no, I definitely cleaned it off. I was horrified and embarrassed.
You're definitely a story for like that worker, right? They're like, when somebody's like, what's the craziest person you've seen? They're like, well, one time this guy came and he had nachos on his face.
Nacho face came up to me.
Dr. Nacho face.
Dr. Nacho face.
Is there a doctor on the plane? Thank God there was an emergency. And
oh my God.
Doctor on the plane.
That'd be
no, if there was an emergency, they'd be like, well, there's one doctor, but we don't trust him.
That's right.
We saw him earlier. And
That's fantastic, Chris, and I love that it led to zero introspection. Really,
Yeah.
That's the best part.
yeah, I know you still
And then
drink a
I
little
fell
bit,
asleep.
and that's great. But you are probably more careful with your nacho intake.
It's
now.
true. Yeah. I put the leftovers away. I'm paranoid.
Put 'em in your boot. Is that-
All right, Ashley. Last but not least, bring us home. We've had all sorts of crazy stories. What do you got for us?
All right, here's the thing. Listening to Chris talk, am I echoing? Should I
Nope, you're great.
No, you're echoing.
Oh,
talk?
Wait, I'm echoing. Wait, what's? Are we all echoing? I'm not echoing anymore. I don't know. Someone else.
That goes over though for me, but I did hear it before.
Yeah, there was
Yeah.
an echo before. Yep. But
Yeah.
Okay.
go for it
Done
now.
now.
See what happens.
Actually, we
Okay.
think we've decided it's okay.
Okay. Oh, well, Chris was talking. Obviously, I was circling through back a lot of very embarrassing drunk stories, and then I was circling back through the time I projectile vomited on a flight attendant, and then I was like, no, I'm gonna circle it back to Lisa one more time because her story really made me think of when I just like really embarrassed myself via language barrier, which I feel like is ultimately what happened to Lisa.
Californian to New Jerseyan.
The first time I traveled overseas was not an exciting trip. It was not just somewhere cool. It was to Switzerland, and it was to the middle of nowhere, Switzerland. So we're talking like 2-hour train ride to Zurich, but maybe a 15-minute walk to Germany if you could walk over the Alps. So it is still to this day like the most beautiful place I've ever seen. Honestly, like out of a weird ass picture book that you're like, I didn't even know I'd read this book, but I've read it and I'm here now. And the train station was the cleanest thing I've ever seen. And the Swiss would get up at 7 a.m. and walk perfectly dressed and perfect coiffed down to the train station, and they'd all stand there looking perfect, and then they'd get on their perfect clean train and leave. It was insane. But it was also 45 minutes to like the nearest city. And I was traveling internationally for the first time, and I was like, I gotta have a fling.
is this for work? Were you there for work, or was this for pleasure?
Oh, it was a family thing. And I was just like, so it wasn't my choice. You know what I mean? It was like, okay, this is where I am, and I'm with my family. But for God's sake, I'm going to have an international fling. That's what, got to happen for me. And we were staying at this like adorable, picture it with the Alps behind it, a little thatched home with like flowers on the windowsills, and each room is like a quaint hotel room where the windows open like this and you sing at birds. And so we were sitting there, and I was like, there's no chance I'm ever going to meet a guy here. But then the first night we're there, lo and behold, there's 2 young gentlemen who must be working. Apparently they were contract workers on a project right over the border in Germany. And they were staying at this place, and they were about my age, and one of them was much better looking than the other. But when you have 2 options, you say, I'll try both. So also, this was a region in Switzerland where, unlike Zurich, where everyone speaks English, no one spoke English here. Nobody, not even a little bit at all. And it was terrifying everywhere we went because it was a German Swiss, and it's a very abrasive language where it sounds like people are yelling at you even when they're not. So my nerves are already a little frayed, and I'm like, I know I'm not going to be able to communicate with these guys, but I'm joking with my cousin, and I'm like, the international language of rock, paper, scissors. Everyone knows how to play rock, paper, scissors. These guys smoke, so I'm like, I'm going to go out when they're smoking to the smoking area, start up a conversation, just maybe flirt with them a little bit. She's like, how are you going to flirt with them? This is ridiculous. Neither one of you speak a word of the other person's language. I'm like, it's body language. It's international. Plus, I've got rock, paper, scissors in my back pocket. If all else fails. I go outside, and I'm trying to make conversation with this guy, and I think it's actually going pretty well. We're getting like some communications across, like job and all right, probably not a lot is getting through, but I'm thinking I'm on fire. And then there's a lull. I'm like, this is my time. Rock, paper, scissors. This is going to come into play right now. This is going to be perfect. What?
Yes. Oh my god.
I think it's cute. I think it's like a little joke. Like, and I'm like, yeah,
This is a huge assumption to feel
Yeah.
like rock, paper, scissors
Yeah,
is
what-
an
what's-
international game.
What's
What
the
drew you
transition?
tonight?
Yeah, what's the transition now? Because I'm like conversation, you're like
You just
job,
started going
and
like
then
this.
you're like,
Did you just throw it?
yes, I want to be clear.
I see where this is going.
You see
Okay.
where this is going.
all right.
Apparently,
Oh no!
not internationally known. I'm trying to explain it in a cute way. And at some point, I do realize that I am just going like this. And looking at them, you get it.
Wait, why did you double up on hands? You could have just been like rock, paper, scissors. No? Rock, paper, scissors.
I think you definitely like when I realized, and I was like, I was to be like, wait, is his reaction to this good? Because maybe we just skipped over all of the small talk, and I just got right down to business. But no, he was definitely not charmed by it.
Did you get to any other thing besides this? Did you like go like like
No, I think I was doing like, rock, paper, and then when I realized I was just doing this, I was like, no, like rock, paper.
he's just like I don't know what this person wants.
I was just like, okay, good night. I was like, oh, good night to you, sir.
Holy
love
shit,
it.
that is hilarious.
Didn't go well, is what I meant to say.
Oh,
I did.
I'm not sure rock, paper, scissors is a thing anywhere but America.
I don't know the answer to that.
That's a
clearly.
hell of a way to find out, though.
Yeah.
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 So wait, what happened after?
it's-
Like
I left. I literally went inside and they checked out like the next night. And I did not have sex on that trip, but my cousin did. And I had to wait in the hallway.
did they try a different game that worked?
What she did is she did it when we went to visit Zurich where people spoke English. So that was.
I just want to know if rock, paper, scissors didn't work, what the other option was. Like they whipped out a cootie catcher and you're like, this worked.
Circle, dot.
Duck, duck, goose.
Yeah, it's more of a duck, duck, goose crowd, Ashley. You did mess up. You just chose the wrong game.
Oh my god.
Patty cake, maybe? What
Yeah.
Oh, that would have been good.
No.
Lisa's just trying to make it work, Ashley, okay? Paul Rudd energy up in here.
Oh my god.
Oh my
I'm
god.
just well, because there's Rochambeau. That's a different
Yeah.
language, right?
That's also rock, paper, scissors, right?
That's just
Rochambeau.
Right, but that means it's international.
I don't think that's another
Rochambeau?
language.
I don't even know what that is.
Rochambeau is rock,
Yeah,
paper,
made up.
scissors.
Rochambeau
really?
is made up, right?
Oh, all right, I take it back.
Isn't Rochambeau French too? Isn't that like why? Okay,
It certainly sounds French.
Yeah.
It sounds French, but I don't know.
Which is close to Switzerland, so that
They do speak French in Switzerland. Parts of.
You also tip the gas regular, fill it up. That works there too. No worries.
Yeah, just telling him to fill it up would have worked.
Wow,
Yeah, you know what?
really
Instead of rock,
isn't
paper,
good,
scissors,
Lisa.
fill it up and then tip him $5 American.
Yeah.
That would have
and that's how you get to heaven.
worked.
Hey.
Yeah. Okay, there you go.
Okay.
Rochambeau.
What's the etymology, though? It says it right below it there. Perhaps.
Okay,
What is
Junkenpon definitely sounds German or Swiss.
Joking.
Oh, man.
To the French surname Rochambeau.
I wonder why that
It's
became
very hard to read.
the thing.
Although
we,
this definition is rated 2 stars, so I don't know if it's right.
They downvoted that definition. They were like, no.
Yeah, we gotta go to the real one, Urban Dictionary. That's where it really counts, guys. We all know this.
What a story, Ashley. I think what a great way to end. And I love that your cousin had sex and you had to be in the hall. That's a great cap for that story.
She had sex with a dude, and she's gay, and she married a woman, and I couldn't have sex with the dude, but she got the dude. Anyway.
Did she say to him, how do you know you're gay if you've never fucked a lady?
Yeah.
That would have worked.
Up on a dick, and then they went into our hotel room, and she threw up on his dick, and then she came out and she was like, "Let's go to the spa. I'm a lesbian."
There it is. We have
Full
reached
circle.
the part of the show where we have come full circle. We are close to wrapping up, but now
we goosed it.
we've goosed the show. And now it's my favorite part of the show is when Rachel, who has been just sitting quietly, taking this all in, soaking it in, writing gold, and now she's going to share with us and do a recap of the show in tweets. So, Rachel, take it away.
Sure. As those who have not seen the show may not know, I've been tweeting the entire show. Once again, I'm just completely exhausted, so I really hope tweeting that you guys like the tweets. I just hope that they work. Otherwise, I wasted my night. Cool. So these are the tweets based on the show. Oops, what I just did. I clicked on the analytics. Sorry. Me being held hostage in an abandoned warehouse, tied to a chair with a bag on my head, missing a finger. This would never happen. First one.
It'd be a very dark episode.
What's funny is we actually, never mind. When Californians are wildly wrong about the geography of where I live, I just let it slide. They have enough to deal with the gold rush alone.
I gave him a whole $5.
$5. I think if I were a child and pretending to be an adult, like in a big or 13 going on 30 type situation, the way I'd be caught is when I drive into a gas station and forget gas. That's normal. The worst thing would be getting bored into the world and not knowing who you're supposed to tip and not tip. Not tipping your waiter, tipping the guy who gives you your driver's test, not tipping your hotel worker, tipping the U.S. president. I forget how many I made of Lisa. Lying in bed thinking about the past, back when the gas station attendant would fill your gas tank, wash your windshield, check your oil, and introduce you to their middle child, typically named John or Emma, a middle name.
It's those kids.
Science fairs prepare kids to attend poster sessions while getting their PhD at a big university, or alternately, displaying their tiny volcano in the Masonic Lodge that's all about those spewy guys.
That was mashup right there.
Losing my balance, tripping, falling on a woman, pulling down her skirt under her butt. She is an agitator. She won't look me during judging. I wish I could telepathically communicate to her. You have a great ass. Please let me move forward.
I wonder if telling her she had a great ass would have been better or worse. I don't know.
Absolutely worse. It's funny no one appreciates the humor of the situation when I have absolutely shit the bed and would greatly personally benefit from people finding this scenario.
That's a good one. That's very funny.
Hate it when I'm goosed, grabbed or pinched in the butt. Hate it even worse when I'm spruce goose, hit in the butt.
I like that one.
The first sign a guy has a problem with toxic masculinity is when he's stored in a sealed container, included in a stable medium such as glass or a cement mixture, or buried under.
that was a thinker.
Yeah.
Calling all my acquaintances best friends because I've either lost the threat or grabbed onto it harder.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
The freakiest guy possible, the 70-year-old man whose cell phone is full of downloaded porn gifs. That's just a women opening doors.
R.I.P. to big homie Lou.
RP Lou.
Opening door porn.
Consigning my daughter to the tallest tower in the land when I dare steal the logo, which is $8 salad from Panera. Realizing that I need to be a better person, but I'm in Las Vegas, so I can't bring my personal epiphany back when I fly home. Is like what they say: don't have personal growth.
Right. Don't do it.
Me, an old-timey cab driver, doffing my cab hat as a mermaid struggles up in the absolutely so cool. Flattering one of those nights. Wondering what I'm doing with my life before remembering the answer, dangling from a rope tied around my ankle, exciting the crocodiles in the pit before they can properly menace my boss's nemesis, the dashing road. And then the last one, trying to flirt with a guy who only speaks German by pantomiming a wall that gets torn down, reuniting two sides of a city and weekend.
Oh, yeah,
Amazing.
the Berlin Wall should be a new
That
sex
was art.
position.
Yeah, that was truly,
What would that
that was
look
truly
like?
great.
The Berlin Wall rather than like Eiffel Towering. Ashley, it's not rock, paper, scissors. That doesn't work. We've learned this.
I'm banging down a wall, guys.
And
feel like
the
it's when you
Soviet
make it
Union
clear-
indirectly.
When you make a clear demarcation in an orgy that on this side one thing happens and on this side something else happens and you don't get to fucking cross. So you just have to choose which side you're on.
It's very It's very democratic, cuckery right there.
Yeah, Fukuyama Ing, which is the end of history. There's something
Yeah, so-
there. I gotta workshop that.
Oh man, what a show. Mr. Gorbachev, let's have this sex. There it is. What an amazing show tonight, full of all sorts of embarrassing stories. But the great thing about embarrassing stories is no matter how embarrassing they are at the time, they're nothing but funny stories later on, right? And it's something to remember at the time. It's like, it feels like it's the end of the world. It feels like it's the biggest thing ever. And then people probably don't even fucking remember it a couple months from now. They've seen crazier stuff in Vegas all the time. I'm sure that woman has never, she probably has not has her skirt pulled down again, Ashley. She probably hasn't forgotten that. So that's on you. But the rest of them for sure.
And a damn fine ass it was.
There you go.
I want to thank all of you for sharing your stories. I want to thank you all for being here. Rachel, Sarah, Ashley, Chris. Special thanks to Jaya. Special thanks to Marcus, Lisa, of course. And thanks to everybody watching at home or wherever you're watching. And we appreciate your hanging out on a Tuesday with us. Of course, a big thanks to Matt backstage showing us all the sexy pictures of Paul Rudd and Ryan Reynolds. Yeah, until next time, thanks for hanging out. We'll see you next week. Bye, everybody. Good night.